Matchday 14 in La Liga. EA Sports brought us a Catalan derby from the stadium of Montilivi. Girona were playing host to Espanyol. Girona coming into this game looking to pick up 3 consecutive La Liga victories for the first time this season. Consistency has been an issue for Girona so far this term. Espanyol were coming into this one having lost 6 of their previous 7 encounters, but knowing that a victory would take them out of the bottom 3. That being said, though, in the first half, Girona were deadly, as just a few minutes into the game, Bryan Gil would already open the scoring for the hosts. Bryan Gil, I should say, being set up by Miovski. A fine finish into the bottom corner. Bojan Miovski just being able to find a gap in the space in behind Espanyol. The first opportunity they had to leave some space in behind, and Girona capitalized nicely. Bryan Gil doing really well to find the bottom corner. Those two would actually combine superbly well throughout the game. Miovski, as we see here, picks out Bryan Gil. El Hilali just backs off, and Gil is able to find the bottom corner on his left foot. His second La Liga goal of the season. Not a bad start at all, just 3 minutes in, Girona taking the lead. But they didn't stop there, they kept on pushing and pushing and pushing. In fact, inside the opening 20 minutes alone, Girona had up to 87% possession. And they asserted their dominance by pushing forward time and time again. Bryan Gil, a constant threat down the left. Girona even asking for a penalty on this occasion, as Donny van de Beek was brought down in the box by Rafael Bauza. Nothing would be given, though, by the official on the day. Girona coming into this game off the back of a 4-3 victory here against Leganés, and then most recently, before the international break, a 1-0 victory away against Getafe. Looking for a 3rd consecutive win on the bounce, and it was looking more and more likely as the minutes went by. Bryan Gil would play this ball across. It was blocked, but the rebound was sent straight back to him, and he was able to play the ball across to Bojan Miovski, returning the favour. Miovski, who had set up Bryan Gil for the opener. Well, now it was Miovski to make it 2-0 on 15 minutes. Miovski as well, scoring his first goal in La Liga EA Sports. Probably won't score an easier goal this season. A simple tap-in, but it all comes down to perseverance from Bryan Gil. His initial cross blocked by Cabrera, but then he gets to the second ball and he plays it across for Miovski to simply tap it in to an empty net. Very difficult defending for Espanyol. And the worst part of it is, for the visitors, is that Girona quite simply kept on coming. Again here, a 1-2 between Miguel and Bryan Gil. He would then lob the ball in, and it was simply helped into the back of the net again by Bojan Miovski. He hadn't scored all season in La Liga, and Miovski would go on to score 2 inside 5 minutes. Both goals being set up by Bryan Gil, who would be named MVP of the match at the end of proceedings, scoring the first and setting up the next 2, but a terrible start to the game for Espanyol. Simple crossing as well, and a very good finish from Bojan Miovski. For Espanyol, they've now conceded 3 goals or more in 4 of their last 5 La Liga away games. Wasn't going to get much better, as just a few minutes later, from a corner, Girona would make it 4. It was helped on by Donny van der Beek at the front post, and it was met by Ladislav Krejci, another man scoring his first goal in La Liga EA Sports, but it was 4-0 after just 26 minutes at Montilivi. Espanyol, with these four, conceding 26 La Liga goals this season, 16 of those coming in the first halves of matches. And it was a fairly simple finish, something worked on the training ground. Donny van der Beek helping it on, and Krejci simply runs in at the back post and slides it in to make it 4-0. Girona confirming their dominance. It was one-way traffic in the first half. Here it was now Miguel Gutierrez trying to play it across. Yasser Asprilla just keeping the ball in play and then playing it back for Donny van der Beek, but his shot was easily picked out by Joan Garcia. A few chances, or half chances if you will, for Espanyol in the first half at least came from individual mistakes at the back from Girona. Yeah, Puado unable to capitalize on that poor back pass. Espanyol would end the first half with just 22% possession. Completely outplayed by Michel's Girona. This cross, a fairly simple one for Paulo Gazzaniga. Images now of the second 45. And Girona, just a couple of minutes in, almost made it 5-0. As Donny van der Beek would pick out Bojan Miovski. The North Macedonian international could only put the shot wide of the back post. He might just have been offside, but still unable to find the bottom corner. Girona starting the second half on the front foot. Here it seemed Girona were simply toying with Espanyol, looking to make it 5-0, but the final shot came from van der Beek and it wasn't his best effort, only able to hit the side netting. Funnily enough, at this point last season, Girona were at the top of the table on 34 points. They'd won 11 games at this stage of the season. This would turn out to be victory number 6 for them of this current campaign. But there were flashes of the Girona of last season, ruthless going forward against Espanyol. Miguel Gutierrez was next. This one, though, just going wide. Not that it was very difficult, but Espanyol, to their credit, did up their game in the second half. The away end was actually full at the start of the game. Most of the travelling supporters had already left the stadium in the early stages of the second half, and a few of them missed, arguably, the goal of the game. It would turn out to just be a consolation, but on 54 minutes, Javi Puado would score this wonderful goal, finding the bottom corner and beating Paulo Gazzaniga, his 5th La Liga strike of the season. He is now just 2 goals away from equaling his best ever tally in a single top-flight campaign. He scored 7 goals a couple of seasons ago. He is now on 5 with this brilliant finish. Obviously, mute celebrations from Puado. But this did lead to Girona just taking a bit more caution and holding on to the ball for longer spells of possession. Yasser Asprilla wanted his goal on his return to the starting 11. Wasn't too far away with a shot from distance, but this effort was just only put over the crossbar. Donny van der Beek and Yasser Asprilla were actually the first 2 players replaced by Girona as well, just a couple of minutes later. Ivan Martin would make his return from injury, and so too would Victor Sigankov. Brian Olivan had been brought on at half-time by Espanyol, but then Manolo Gonzalez made a triple change to try and get at least another consolation goal. Irvin Cardona, Marash Kumbula and Alvaro Aguado were brought on to replace Sergio Gomez, Alejo Vélez and Rafael Bauza. Girona were still looking for their 5th goal, but they did definitely lower their intensity a little bit here. Viktor Sigankov with his shot, it was deflected. Took a double deflection, in fact, and able to hit the target. Bojan Miovski and Brian Gil then both received standing ovations as they were the next 2 players to be replaced by Girona. On came Cristian Stuani to face his former side, and Arno Danjuma marked his return from injury as well, coming on for the MVP of the match, Brian Gil. Kral would find El Hilali here, whose cross was just met somehow by Boado. The ball was then played back in. Cardona unable to head the ball closer to the target. The chance would ultimately end with this effort from Alvaro Aguado. His shot deflected off Miguel Gutierrez and into the hands of Gazzaniga. Heavy blow to the groin there for Miguel Gutierrez. That would actually lead to him being replaced by Selvi. Alvaro Tejero also made way for Espanyol, and Paul Lozano made his return to Montilivi as he came on for the visitors. Lozano, who had previously spent a campaign on loan from Espanyol at Girona. The final score at Montilivi was 4-1 for Girona against Espanyol.